The Trigger Spoon Junior, big enough to draw strikes from trophy trout, small enough to round up a limit of pan-sized fryers, and the perfect spoon to put on the end of your line when the trolling gets tough. Pick up your kit of Trigger Spoon Juniors today at fishhuntshoot.com. Up very close to the shore here because they feel secure. They know they're just a few strokes of the tail from deep water. Look at that, 20 feet. It's really starting to drop now. Now it's going out into the main channel of the lake. We're getting out over the channel, you know, that used to be the bed of Shirttail Creek. 27 feet, 28. We're dropping, and it's going to continue to drop all the way down into 50 plus feet of water here. So, howdy guys, Kel Kellogg here. I got a viewer question today from a guy named Johnny Ray. And Johnny asked me, what do I use my sonar unit for on the kayak? And he's a new kayaker, he just got a kayak, and he's wondering if he even needs a sonar unit. And I can tell you, Johnny, if you're a serious fisherman, you have to have a sonar unit. You don't have to have a super expensive unit, but you need a unit. Now, whether I'm in my power boat or out here in my kayak, whatever, I use my sonar unit for 4 different things. And these are kind of in order of importance, but they're all kind of equally important to me. Number 1, speed. I'm trolling at 1.8, 1.9 right now. It's absolutely crucial for me to know the speed that I'm going through the water. Number 2, I need to know the temperature, okay? Most often, we're targeting rainbow trout if we're looking for trout. If I have a surface temperature of 65 degrees or below, I'm confident that there are rainbows at or near the surface, or there will be rainbows at or near the surface at some point during the day. So the temperature is absolutely crucial. I have to know that. Now, if the temperature is 75 degrees on top, I start estimating where that comfort zone is going to be. How deep do I have to get into that water that's in the, you know, sub 65 degree range? Where is that 56 degree water? Because that's the ideal temperature for trout. So the temperature, it's absolutely critical intel for me to know what the temperature is. Third, I use it to monitor the depth, and I use it to monitor structure, okay? I like to fish structure. I'll fish open water when I have to, but I would much prefer fishing structure. I like to fish those changes. I like to fish those drop-offs, the long points, the underwater walls, the sudden drops, the flats. I like to work structural features, and the sonar unit allows me to identify those types of features. It also lets me keep track of the bottom depth, and that's really important, especially when you're using a downrigger. Let's say you got your downrigger down at 30 feet and you're over 50 feet of water, but you start seeing the bottom coming up. Well, you might have to raise that downrigger really quick to avoid hitting the bottom and potentially tangling it. In a powerboat, you might lose your downrigger ball. In your kayak, it's really bad if your downrigger hangs up. You don't want to be tethered to the bottom in a kayak, especially when you're moving forward. So the depth and the structure, very important for me to know. And finally, I look for fish. And a lot of guys who don't have sonar units assume that would be the first use of the sonar unit, is to find fish. Well, for me, it's definitely up near the top of the list, but it's not the number 1 thing. But I use it to find fish, and once I find fish, I like to work that area. I like to work it thoroughly and try to figure out what those fish want. I typically don't leave fish to find fish if I'm confident the fish that I'm seeing are the types of fish I want to catch. Now, once I start getting hit, I can go exploring, but you can kind of assume that all the fish are on the same page. If you're fishing for trout and you start getting them on a pink spoon, pretty much assume that most areas of the lake, the trout are on the same page, same depth, they're going to hit a pink spoon. So then you can go looking. You can go look for more productive spots or other spots or whatever. But those are the 4 things that I use my sonar unit for: speed, temperature, structure, and finding fish. And if you're going to get a unit, you need to get a unit. If you're serious, you have to have a sonar unit. Now, you can get an expensive unit. If you're on a power boat, you can get one for $2,000 that your sonar unit talks to your trolling motor and your downriggers and all that. I don't do any of that. I'm not that high tech. What I like to say, see a fish, catch a fish. But what you need in a sonar unit is speed, temp. It needs to be able to, read the bottom reliably. And I like one that I can lock the depth in. And I'm sure most modern units do that. Like right now, I've got my depth locked in from 0 to 40 feet. Water temperature is cold on top. I don't care what's going on below 40 feet. I can still see how deep it is. It's 49 feet deep here. But what I want to see that top 40 feet of the water column today. If I was at Shasta, I might have that depth locked in from, say, 30 feet to 90 feet, something like that, if it was a warm weather situation. So you don't have to break the bank on a sonar unit. I'm running a Lowrance Hook 5 right now. I think it cost me $300, not a lot. Easy to set up, easy to use. There's a bit of a learning curve, there always is. There's a learning curve when I get a new watch, the technical stuff. But anyway, Johnny, you need a sonar unit no matter what kind of watercraft you're fishing in, because it's just a critical tool to identify speed, temperature, structure, bait, fish, how are the fish relating to the bait. All those pieces of intel add up, to a strategy, a fishing strategy, and that's how it all comes together out on the water. It allows you to pinpoint fish, experiment on those fish, mess with speeds, mess with depths, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, hope that helps you, Johnny. I hope it helps the other guys out here on the channel. I'm Kel Kellogg. I'm signing off for now. If you're looking for fishing gear, the stuff you see me using here on the channel, the stuff you see me catching fish on pretty much every day here on YouTube, go on over to fishhuntshoot.com. Check out my full array of tackle. Check out my store. And if you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button, and you'll know when I'm always on here rambling on about fishing. You guys stay safe, healthy, happy. I'm Kel Kellogg. I'll catch you next time right here on YouTube. I'm going to get my troll on. I'm going to catch a fish right over here. Anyway, I'll catch you guys later.